On Southern Spice, I have a very interesting guest that is going to talk to us about something that he's passionate about. இப்போ வந்து நம்ம last few interviews in the series, what we've been doing is, we've been bringing uh, people, youngsters, basically kids who are in high school, with some of their very very interesting initiatives, right? So அந்த சீரீஸ்ல இன்னைக்கு ஒரு youngster who's a junior in high school in Dallas, Texas, and he is coming to us to talk about what his project is. So he's basically fighting the opioid endemic with 3D printing. This is a very, very interesting concept. And his name is Sid Battula, and he's a high school junior, as I mentioned, in Dallas. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's bring Sid to the stage. Hi, Sid. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone, and hello, Venki. Thank you for having me on the show. Would you like me to introduce myself or get
Yes,
started?
please.
Yes. Okay. So, hi, everybody. My name is Sid Battula. I'm a student at JP2 John Paul II High School. As Venki said, I'm a junior. My main major and what I want to major in college is computer science and engineering, which allowed me to spark my passion for this project. My passion itself is fighting the opioid overdose amongst teens and youngsters, such as myself. My contribution to this is by fighting it using the Narcan project.
So, what is Narcan? What does it stand for?
So Narcan is a medication. It's basically the commercialized term for naloxone. Naloxone is the actual medication itself, and it helps reverse the issues and the actual fatal situation of having an overdose. It's designed to reverse the implications of an overdose when someone takes opioids such as fentanyl. When someone experiences this issue and they're going through such a high stress and a high level environment, this medicine, this life-saving medication will save them in this situation. Many police officers and ambulance and first responders have this medication on them. That's right.
They carry it with them?
They carry it in their vehicles right now, and the actual project is meant to keep it on their person, but I can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so tell us about the Narcan project that you've been working on.
So starting very early on, late 8th grade, I was able to partner with the Carrollton Police Department, which is my local police department. And the CPD requires the officers to carry Narcan in their vehicles, not just in their on their uniform. But the issue is, since Narcan is such an emergency medication and it has such a high implication in a lot of major overdoses happen in such a short period of time, these officers aren't able to go to the situation and then go back to their vehicle to retrieve the medication. The Narcan packaging itself does not fully protect the actual medication itself from any damage. So the officer can't keep it on their uniform without it. The actual case itself is ergonomically comfortable, and it allows officers to keep the medicine with them and allows them to respond to that situation at a fast and in an efficient manner.
Okay. So essentially they have it on them, they have it in the vehicle. So if they get a call and they go to a location, they're able to immediately administer that to the person who's having a crisis situation.
Yes, and the issue is that I'm solving is the packaging itself is very brittle, and It's like kind of paper. It's very thin and brittle, and if an officer were to keep it on them at all times, it would break down in a matter of a week. So having this case helps prevent these issues and allows them to keep it on them the whole time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so the paper kind of becomes too soft and it rips, and then the medication gets exposed. Okay, okay. So how did you really solve this whole packaging problem?
So I use my design process in 3D printing. I basically went through many iterations from start to finish and started off with essentially just a box and wanted to see if that would work with the medication. The main issue with that first box was it wasn't pressure fit and designed for the actual medication. It kind of just held it and it rattled a lot. And there wasn't much protection to the actual case. Through many iterations, I was able to create a pressure fit box that could actually fit the Narcan medication. And so officers could keep it on their person in their chest pocket or in their leg pocket. These two pockets aren't necessarily used a lot. Officers mainly keep pens and smaller objects there, but keeping the Narcan project in such a close vicinity to the officer allows it to be immediately accessible. This blended my ingenuity and my love for engineering as well as my like perspective and my opinion whether like with the community and whether or not to save teenagers. And this has like a great impact on teenagers and on anybody facing an overdose.
Nice. So walk us through the design. The design and the features of the 3D printed case that you created, Sid.
So the Narcan case itself, for those of you who are listening, is essentially a rectangular box with two semicircle sides, which allow it to be held comfortably and easily, like almost a phone. Half of a phone is the around the size it actually is. It's a bevel box pressure fit on the inside, so the actual Narcan packaging can't fall out if you turn the box upside down. The the box itself is pressure fit in that. So if you use two thumbs, you are able to pull out the actual Narcan medication and you're able to take it and administer it very quickly. As you can see in this image, you can see the Narcan packaging itself. This paper and plastic like packaging isn't designed to be in a high stress, high pressure environment like being an officer is. You aren't able to do physically demanding tasks with that paper packaging. On the left, you can see the actual 3D modeled case that perfectly fits the actual medication and is able to allow for ease of access. The notch at the very top allows for your thumbs to pull the packaging out in an easy manner, not just having to use the very top of the actual medication, but you're able to pull it with your fingers. This ease of access and this simple design allowed officers to actually do what they're supposed to in a situation like that. Because most of the time, it's not first responders there first. You don't get an ambulance at a situation like this. You usually get a school security officer, especially if it happens on high school grounds. You usually get a school security officer or just a regular police officer when you call 911. First responders generally come at a later time because it takes a lot more planning and it's a much larger vehicle to actually travel to the location. So since officers are the first one there, we were able to mitigate any time delays and create a safe and easy to access situation and allows for effectiveness in the simplicity of the actual design.
So help me understand. Walk me through this. So somebody has taken an overdose, right? And then someone else in that vicinity, whether it could be in a school premises or it could be outside somewhere in a hotel, somebody sees that there is a victim, there is somebody who's taken an overdose, and they call 911. And then the police comes to the scene and they find the individual having had an overdose. How do they determine that it is an overdose problem and not something else?
An overdose problem is relatively easy to determine. It mainly happens in situations where it's a lot of at-risk people. So in situations where it's high schoolers who are having a hard time, it's very easy to determine that. And also the Narcan medicine itself doesn't have many negative side effects. Nasally administering this has only a short-term effect to reverse the overdose. But administering it to someone who doesn't necessarily need the medication isn't harmful in and of itself. So if
Oh,
you so if you nasally administer this medication, but they're not necessarily having an overdose, it helps check off like another issue off the list and allows them to further dive deeper into what the actual problem is. Most of
that's
the time it
interesting.
is overdoses because in the United States, fentanyl overdose and opioid overdose is the number 2 killer just under car accidents. So just by that statistic itself, most of the time it will be an overdose, which can be solved using Narcan.
Wow. I learned something today. So thank you for teaching me that. Um, so you decided to partner with the local police department. So why is it so important to partner with the police department for overdose prevention? Yeah, obviously they cannot get to the scene before this happens.
Yes. It's so important to partner with your local police departments because most first responders, such as ambulances and and like the fire department, have a kit for this. They have a full setup for opioid overdose, and they're able to actually like to solve it much faster than an officer would be without this packaging. But by targeting our local police departments and by offering them this case, we are able to prevent this time delay, as I said earlier. And it essentially creates a full network of lifesavers. Officers, in and of itself, they are meant to serve and protect. By serve and protecting, they are able to serve and protect individuals undergoing overdose, which allows them to save their lives. Not only serving them by law, but serving them in a life saving medication. This transforms the law enforcement from a role of of justice and law into active healthcare providers, which bridges the gaps between emergency medical response and emergency police response, which allows for more people to be saved in a timely manner. And that's what I'm trying to solve. Just allowing for more time for people to live and allowing for that time delay to get closer.
Absolutely. So how did you hit upon this idea?
So, first, it started in late 8th grade. Our school security officer, Officer Anderson, actually came to our robotics team with this idea. He was touring the lab for just safety purposes and just a yearly tour. He was seeing how the robot is and basically had to see all the exits. And in that, he thought of an idea for the actual Narcan project. And he had asked us for a solution to this. So we spent our season in robotics to actually solve for this problem. And we 3D modeled and designed multiple iterations and had him test it out in the real world. And overall, we were able to find the perfect solution to this. And he's still using it to this day with his patrol.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, is it only within the Carrollton township, or has it been shipped to other police departments?
Currently, it's in Carrollton and in Plano, which are two cities very close to each other in my region. The Carrollton Police Department definitely has more as of right now, but in Plano, I was able to collaborate with my school security officer and having him carry this actual medicine. So just spreading it across as
Okay.
much as we can.
And how long do you think it'll be before the entire state of Texas, you know, gets to start using this?
With more interviews like this and more presentations, I'm planning on spreading this word not only to Texas, but to the nation and to the globe. India also has like its respective viewership, and I'm able to spread this message to India and to the entire globe, basically. So instead of just focusing my eyes on Texas, I want to spread this Narcan project to as many people as possible. It doesn't matter where they're from, as long as they're able to find it and print it, their case is theirs. And it's not patented at all, which allows them to make more iterations and more changes on top of it, which allows them to further design the case into ways that I wouldn't even think were possible. It allows for more innovation and the betterment of not only the local community, but the engineering world itself.
That was going to be my next question. I was going to ask if you patented it, but it's very selfless that you kind of come up with the design and you've thrown it open for anybody to copy and reproduce. So fantastic. So it's a very impressive project, Sid. It sounds like you've created a solution that can potentially save numerous lives. Truly. Now, yeah. How did you think about it in the beginning?
I mainly thought about it as something very small. I didn't think it would have such a great impact, but in doing more research with my team, I found out about all of the major issues regarding opioid overdose and the many deaths that happen just because of small little issues that people aren't able to get to the person on time that's facing overdose. So by actually creating this case, I'm able to not only offer this to officers, which will usually be there on time, but I also want to spread it to my local community. Having schools and other areas of public accommodation have this case itself, they're able to mitigate this issue without anybody being there. They can nasally administer the device. It's not an injection. You don't need any medical training to actually use it. You just nasally administer it, and they're able to be saved and protected.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Go ahead, continue.
So overall, I definitely want to spread this to other police departments, and that's my main goal. But to anyone who's listening out here, if you're able to produce this case and actually find where to print this case, it's on Thingiverse, and if you search up Narcan, it will be the first one you find. And overall, you're able to just print it and use it. There's no supports, nothing needed. You just need to print it and use it. And it's very
Wow.
easy to use and very simple.
So you said Thingiverse?
Thingiverse, yes. Thingiverse. Thingiverse.
Thingiverse.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
And you
just
just
an
go there and search Narcan, and this will be the first one that pops up.
first. Yes. And
Wow.
it's an open source platform, completely free. Just download and go. I kept it open source, like I said before, because more people can actually add on to it. Say an officer wants to customize it with the belt holder or with anything. If anybody wants to customize it, they're able to have this. And this also goes out to families and other teenagers. Many teenagers are afraid to talk about this, and many people have a stigma around issues such as opioid overdose. Nobody really talks about this in their day to day, and you don't learn about this in health class at school. By offering this solution, I'm able to raise the question on why this is so important and why so many people need to be saved. And that's my goal, just to raise as much awareness as possible and save as many lives as possible. Because in raising awareness, I'm able to make people question the realities of life and the realities of this opioid crisis. And in doing so, I'm able to allow more people to question why this is happening and allow for more education regarding opioids.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So that's what you're going to do going forward. Even when you go into college, you're going to continue pursuing this passion and fight the opioid endemic.
Yes, of course. In college, also, there are many issues regarding opioids. These are students that are finally getting an ounce of freedom and they're learning about the real world. And some of them get into situations where they end up making mistakes. And obviously, mistakes are something to be learned from, but you shouldn't die for a simple mistake. So, in allowing for more people to have this Narcan medicine and this case, you're allowed to save people and also help them learn and allow for the community to grow in regards to raising awareness and in regards to like actually living. People are able to live because of this.
Brilliant. Sid, this is phenomenal. So apart from academics and this project, do you have any other hobbies? What do you do for fun?
Yes. As I stated earlier, I'm on the robotics team. That's how I found out about the Narcan case. But I'm also the president of Speech and Debate, the treasurer of my local school's DECA. I am working towards my Eagle Scout. I'm a Life Scout for Boy Scouts right now. I'm currently working on many things, but mainly my main goal is for computer science. And I'm currently the captain of a combat robotics team where we build battle bots and go compete in my local region. And I also had an internship last summer at Radius AI as a data science intern. So these are just a few things that help mesh me with the Narcan project. And I really do enjoy what I'm doing with the project itself, as in having these interviews with you and really spreading the word in accommodation. And in all of my education and all of the things that I do in terms of hobbies and extracurriculars, I'm able to really allow for those extracurriculars to support my passion for Narcan. Like speech and debate allows me to talk about all of these issues in a better way. I'm not closed off and I'm open. And all of these different extracurriculars help me build up this awareness. And that's my main goal, just save people's lives.
Phenomenal. Sid, when I speak with kids like you, I feel so good that the future of this earth is in very good hands. Keep doing what you're doing. It's brilliant. And I wish you all the best with your college applications and with everything in the future. And I hope to come back and see you again in Southern Spice one more time at a different milestone that you might have achieved. Good luck.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care. All right, Nergale, that was Sid Battula from Dallas, Texas. Oh, what a brilliant kid and what a phenomenal project he's working on. On that note, thank you so much for watching. I'll come back to you with another interesting episode of Southern Spice with another high schooler somewhere in America very soon. Thank you. Take care.